if you come in as a gospel or Christian artist, and then you get to the point to where success is more important than the message, I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, because like we say we're doing it for God, but then when we're not getting the success, or we're not getting the streams, or we're not getting the shows, then we start saying, oh man, I need to go over here because they're not accepting. Well, if it's for God, then you should just be doing it for God anyway, and whatever comes with it, then that comes with it, because everybody's not gonna be famous. Everybody's not gonna go viral. But if you're doing it for God, then just keep doing it for God. Just put it up, because it shouldn't be about the numbers. It shouldn't be about the streams. It shouldn't be about that. It shouldn't be about any of that. So that's where, you know, I always check my heart when I do get in those situations where I'm like, dang man, I posted this reel and it didn't go crazy. You know what I'm saying? It sucks. And I'm not saying that that's not a real feeling, because it is. But I got to check my heart. It was like, well, I thought you was doing this for God, right? I thought you was, you know what I'm saying? Because God is just telling us to go. He didn't say, hey, you're gonna go and then you're gonna blow up. You know what I'm saying? He just said go. So I'm proposing, like, all right, I'm gonna just post a reel. Whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, mission to me, I wanted to go viral. Like, I work hard. But if it don't, then what am I gonna do? Kicking it.
Oh, kicking.
My bad.
Nah, same thing.
I was like, keeping up with the Kardashians. Oh, man. It's been a long time coming.
Facts.
Appreciate you, bro, for being here.
Easy.
Appreciate you. It's been a while. My first guest on Brick by Brick.
Yes, sir.
None other Christian hip-hop artist, OG in the game. Like, entrepreneur. He's a nonprofit founder, and we're about to talk about everything.
Absolutely.
And so none other than Antonio Smith, a.k.a. Mission Music.
What's up, bro?
Appreciate you, bro.
Easy.
So if people have never listened to CHH, they don't know who Mission is, like, give me a brief rundown. I want to start really with highlights. Like, we're going to talk about like Boast right now. You know, give the people, all right, who's Mission? What has he done in artistry? And then we're going to tell your story, but I really want to start out with, like, where you at right now? You're popping. Like, not everyone knows that, but you're popping. So.
Yeah. Nah, man. So just me as an artist, man, just I'm a real honest, transparent artist. And when it comes to boasting and stuff, man, like, I always like kind of let the music do the talking.
100%.
But I do feel like I'm, you know, one of the guys, one of them guys that's in the top, wherever you want to place me. But, you know, we've been having, you know, some success lately.
Yeah.
You know, things been going good. Had a song that's NFL's been playing.
Yeah,
like
so talk about that.
Teams. It's called Marvelous.
Okay, yeah, that's the one that, like, would you say kind of took you off? Like, you've been in the game for a long time. Would you say that's the top song that actually just skyrocketed you as an artist?
I would say, as far as like social media wise, but I think, like, I know, like, other songs like It's a Bob, Struggle, Thank the Lord, like, those were the songs that, like, really separated me and put me on, if you will. But Marvelous was, like, I guess, mainstream success.
For sure.
Because a lot of the people that's playing it is not Christian. And so I just found out yesterday it was on ESPN, like, golf commercial. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope. Like, for whatever reason, this song got a lot of mainstream sports attention for whatever reason.
Who was the first team to use it?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
It was tough. Like, they were getting off the plane, right?
They were getting off the plane. Yeah, they had Patrick Mahomes in it, Travis Kelce. I'm like, bro, what the heck going on?
This is my song. Yeah. You get a notification when that happens?
So somebody text me. Like, actually, shout out Kendi, one of my good friends, his wife.
Okay.
Was like, hey, the Kansas City Chiefs just posted your song on TikTok. I'm like, what? So I'm like, all right, whatever. It might be, you know, some of the second string players or whatever. But I went on, and sure enough, bro, they
Main
posted
account,
it.
Right?
Yeah, it went stupid.
That's crazy.
And it's actually the most viewed video
on their account?
On their TikTok account.
So, okay, so that's Marvelous. Go back to It's a Bop. I'm pretty sure that's your most streamed song, right? But it's been in the game for a long time? Is that your most streamed song?
Nah, Thank the Lord is
Thank the Lord is?
Yeah, which is crazy. Actually, Struggle is.
Really?
And I thought it was, I think It's a Bop is my most streamed album. Like, the album is called Barely Finished 2.
Sure.
But that's the most streamed song on that album.
Okay.
And just overall, that's the most streamed album. But Struggle is my most streamed song.
Favorite song you've ever written?
That's tough.
And why?
I think, you know what? It's Dear Dad, and it's on my album, All You Know to Me. And it's because that song was the most liberating for me. Because it's not even for other people, more so for myself.
Yeah.
But other people found,
That's huge.
Freedom, whatever you want to call it, in it. But it's my favorite because when I wrote the song, I was going through what I was going through, like the issues of my father not being there.
Sure.
And I found that in writing that song, I had so much like unresolved issues that I thought
actually things came up that you didn't even know.
Exactly.
Pain and trauma and scars that maybe you would have never even recognized.
Exactly. So that let me know it's like, oh, like I'm not just rapping or just to sound tight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's freedom in it.
And there's impact.
Exactly.
For your own life and freedom, but for also other people to listen to. That's why music is so cool.
100%.
It taps into this deeper emotion, this deeper feeling of like, even as a listener, it's like you can probably come to the realization of like, oh, I didn't even know that I struggled with anger until I heard it, rapped about or sung about. And so that's super, super cool. Music has always been a huge part of my life. And so talk about, maybe some influences, secular, that kind of influenced you in your artistry up and coming as a child. Like, who did you grow up listening to?
Yeah.
And then obviously flipping that, God redeeming it.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
So, man, what got me interested in actually making music was DMX.
Okay.
He's not my favorite artist or anything like that, but when I heard his song Slipping and Falling, like that's like the most transparent song. Yeah. I was just like, man, like, why am I relating to this song so much? Why do I feel his lyrics so much? And that's when I decided to become an artist, I said my music is gonna be transparent, open, vulnerable, because that song is what kind of got me into it. But like influence was definitely T.I. I'm from the South. You know what I'm saying?
Where are you from?
I'm from Mississippi, Greenville, Mississippi.
Born and raised.
Born and raised, so about 9, but it's a whole story. Like literally from 9 to 16, I lived in both states, like back and forth, like every year. So when people say, "You from Mississippi? Where's your accent?" Yeah. Mississippi roots, California grown. That's what I like to say.
That's good.
So Jay-Z, T.I., Young Jeezy, man, and then I was in the Snap era. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm understanding music as a teenager, we got a whole bunch of dance, like the early 2000s. 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the person that, when it comes to Christian hip hop, like I used to hear a lot of Christian hip hop artists when I was going to church, like to youth group and stuff, but I didn't really like it. But then when I heard the truth, he sounded like Jay-Z.
So you could, I like that.
I was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, oh, no, this dude actually can rap.
That's tough, yeah.
And then, like, I remember vividly, I was leaving church, and this lady was like, have you ever heard of this rapper named Lecrae? Y'all need to listen to Lecrae. And in my head, I'm like, here goes this other Christian rap, like, that's not going to be tight.
Yeah.
I listened to Praying For You from him, and then it kind of reminded me of the Slipping and Falling by DMX.
Sure.
And then I fell in love with it.
It's all just in correlation to...
Exactly.
And I feel like that's probably so many other people's stories in the game that, like, they hear this song that they like, they become a Christian, and then God redeems it through their sound. And it's not the same sound, but it's like, it's all inspiration.
Exactly.
Right? Through people and secular artists. And God uses you and everyone in the CHH game to redeem it. So what would your response be to, because I know people that are like, the CHH is corny. What they just have to say? They just uninformed and they don't listen. Like every time somebody say that, or somebody says like, there's no lyricism in CHH, I'm like, listen to Jay Monty.
Right. You just don't listen. And it's just like you're uninformed and you do not listen.
Yeah.
Period. Because there's no way you could say that if you actually dive in, you actually listen. Because like I'm for sure I'm not corny.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
100%.
There's nothing like even in high school, even in
the last thing you wanted to be.
Exactly.
You probably set out because you knew and probably heard so much.
But that's the thing. Like I've never been corny ever in my life.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
So even when I'm in the world, I've never been corny. So just because I'm not ever going to be corny. So that could never apply to me. You know what I'm saying? That sounds crazy,
Couldn't
but
be me.
It could never be me. You know what I'm saying? And then the people I hang around, I was like, nah, these not corny dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they just don't listen. They uninformed. And, you know, I would encourage them to listen.
Yeah.
And I thought we were over it because, like, so many eyes is on Christian hip hop right now.
It's blowing up.
It's crazy.
It's kind of taking over. And there's even people emerging from CHH into, like, the secular realm. And we'll get into that. Cause I was
going to say, because I feel like I know why that is.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I can save it or I can say it, you know what I'm saying? It's up to you.
Yeah.
But, like.
I'll say it.
Yeah, well, I think it's because people are tired of. So this is what I'll say. So when it comes to Christian hip hop, right? Like we're being bold, we're professing something. And when you think of secular hip hop, you think of secular music, a lot of it is fake. A lot of it is flamboyant and boastful. But you know a lot of these people don't even claim or have a lot of this stuff that they're claiming that they have.
That's a good point.
So when it comes to Christian hip hop, and there are fake people in Christian hip hop.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like it's refreshing. It's like, man, I'm tired of hearing about gangs. I'm tired of hearing about guns. I'm tired of hearing about women's. Like, what else can you guys say? But then you come across somebody who's saying something positive.
Yeah.
Somebody who's saying something, you know, with substance. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
And, you know, shout out to all the people that left Christian hip hop. You know what I'm saying they need to go to the secular world to explore. But then now you see how God is kind of shifting the whole situation to where the people who stayed, now we're reaping the benefits. The people who, you know, was really about it, who stood their ground, are reaping the benefits. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, of Christian hip hop at the moment.
It's simply faithfulness, right? Like it always comes down to who can stay the longest in anything. Like I believe it's determined based on our obedience. Absolutely. And it's no different than pastoring or being a CHH artist and whatever it is. If your call is to glorify God and walk with Jesus, it's can you be faithful?
Exactly.
Right? And can you withstand people probably in your own camp telling you that, dude, there's so many more opportunities to go worldly, why don't you do it? Right. Like your sound is different. You go sign it with a record label.
Yep.
Like, let's talk about that. Yeah. Record deals. What are your thoughts?
It just got to make sense.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, unless you have a huge bag, like a life-changing bag, there's no reason for you to sign.
Like,
you know what I'm
Reach Records, like, unless you're Reach.
I mean, not even.
Or are you talking about going outside?
Going outside of that, even with, like, no disrespect to Reach Records, but, if you sign to Reach Records, they'd have to give you a life-changing bag. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, because there's really nothing that a record label that can do for you now other than money that you can't do for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, because if you get, when it comes to, like, resources, when it comes to, like, opportunities and things like that, like, if you go viral, if your music is good and if people like it and you go crazy viral and you keep going viral, then those connections and stuff are going to come without attaching yourself to a label. Mm-hmm. Now, there are, like, I know friends who benefit tremendously from a label because of the connection and resources, but they have to give up something for it. Sure. But if you kind of put the work in and grind yourself and you end up, you know, getting the recognition on your own, it's kind of no reason for a label. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like we're in this age where, like, digital marketing of yourself, of your artistry, it's never been easier. You know, like,
I just wake up and put it out.
Just post. Yeah. You know, like I look at Lano, and he just, like, I bought his Lano pack. God. Shout out Lano. Like, I bought his $10 pack. That's a steal, but, like, he's just putting content
It's like 50 songs on there, right?
It's fire, bro. Like, it's but he's like you drop fire reels. Yeah. You know, like, you're just constantly showing up. And I've been kind of consuming content as a student lately. Yeah. The main thing that, you know, when people grow or they're growing their personal brand or they're becoming an entrepreneur, like, the main thing that everyone says is a theme is simply showing up.
Showing up, yeah.
Like, it's just being consistent. So, you know, for your fans or your reach or whatever you're doing, I think a main thing, a key takeaway, you didn't just go viral overnight. No. You were faithful for years. You've, like, again, if people don't know you, And then they go look at your song Marvelous, like, dude, this dude's popping.
Yeah.
He has whatever followers now, hefty following. But you've been in the game a long time.
Too long.
So like just a note for everyone listening, being faithful and obedient trumps overnight success. And
Absolutely.
Growth is great, but it's how you grow that I think is more important.
Yeah.
You grew by being faithful and obedient
100%.
and the anointing was there. And we saw that you got placed on, a platform and then it just spread like wildfire.
Exactly.
But it wasn't overnight.
Right.
And you've been showing up.
Exactly.
You've been putting out music, original
Through
music.
the discouragement.
Original music.
Original music. How you want to
Right? So you've been
100%,
authentic to your
exactly.
sound, your artistry. You've never strayed from making gospel rap,
Yep.
right? Or whatever you want to call it, but it's about King Jesus and it never strayed.
Exactly.
So
and I think like if it does change, I think for someone else, if you come in as a gospel or Christian artist, Christian rap artist, and then you get to the point to where success is more important than the message, I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, because like we say we're doing it for God, but then when we're not getting the success or we're not getting the streams or we're not getting the shows, then we start saying, oh man, I need to go over here because they're not accepting. Well, if it's for God, then you should just be doing it for God anyway, and whatever comes with it, then that comes with it, because everybody's not going to be famous. Everybody's not going to go viral. But if you're doing it for God, then just keep doing it for God. Just put it up, because it shouldn't be about the numbers. It shouldn't be about the streams. It shouldn't be about that. It shouldn't be about any of that. So that's where, I always check my heart. When I do get in those situations where I'm like, dang, man, I posted this reel and it didn't go crazy. You know what I'm saying? It sucks. And I'm not saying that that's not a real feeling, because it is. But I got to check my heart. It was like, well, I thought you was doing this for God.
Yeah.
Right. I thought you was, you know what I'm saying? Because God is just telling us to go.
Yeah.
He didn't say, hey, you're going to go and then you're going to blow up. You know what I'm saying? He just said go.
Yeah.
So I'm approaching this like, all right, I'm going to just post a reel. Whatever happens, happens.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, mission to me, I wanted to go viral. Like, I work hard.
100%.
But if it don't,
what are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
Yeah, I think the heart check's huge, because I think of, the scripture where it says, like when people, they'll see a shiny object, maybe not right in front of them, but they'll be like, dang, that dude's blowing up. I feel like I'm a better artist. I need to go do X, Y, and Z and stray from what I'm doing. And so, right, the scripture talks about where your treasure is, there your heart will be also.
Absolutely.
So it's like you got to dig really deep and really ask yourself, what's my treasure?
Yep.
Is it the king? Is it the hidden treasure in the field?
Yeah.
Am I willing to do anything to protect it and sell out for it and sacrifice for it and keep putting the same message out? Or will I stray, follow the shiny object, and then my heart's going to follow, right? So that's the downfall of a man or a woman. Yeah. But, so I mentioned something earlier, like growing. It's also important how we grow.
Yeah.
So, like, what's your take on partnering with secular artists, right?
Yeah,
and it could be some different scenarios, but like, what if this artist, he's about money, sex, and drugs, but he hops on a CHH song? Like, this has been done plenty of times before. What are your thoughts?
I think it is based on the scenario.
Sure.
I think it's like, so the short answer is like, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's bad I think it would be more beneficial for a Christian artist to hop on their song than it is to get them.
So you're being the light on theirs.
Exactly.
Sure.
So, but I don't know, the conversation is like, so say if I was to meet up with a Drake, right?
Yeah. And
we've been having conversation, boom, 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 boom. And he's like, hey man, let's hop on a song. I'm gonna talk about God. I'm not gonna curse. Like, that's a start.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, bro, let's
goal.
Exactly. So it can't be shunned. I just think personally, if I'm like, Drake, let me get on your song, and then we gonna switch up. We not gonna curse. We gonna do this.
And then
now that's gonna
their sound.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think we be so influenced by the secular artists in some cases.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't think there's really right. Like, if you choose not to do it, then cool. You know what I'm saying? But it comes into like, it comes back to that heart thing. It's like, okay, why do you want this artist on your song? Is it just so you can say that you got this artist on your song? It's gonna bring you clout. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to make it seem like it's about God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or are you really trying to do this to reach? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's why I feel like it would be more beneficial to hop on their song.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're getting them on your song, it can reach somebody that's like, oh, how did he get this person on his song? Oh, dang, okay, let me listen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the downfall about that is if that person goes listen to that person's music now, that's where it could get tricky.
For sure. It's muddy.
It's muddy.
Like if you're
for
not
sure.
wrestling with it and you're just like,
Right.
there might be a problem, right? So like
Exactly.
it's sometimes healthy to wrestle and be
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
You know?
And I just think it just depends on the situation. It depends on why you're doing it. I think that's what it goes back to, because it's just like we just throwing cats on songs for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Just to say, you know what I'm saying? What is this song about?
Yeah.
Like it just sound fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you say God or Jesus every now and again. Like, but what is this song actually about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing half the time. but like, yeah, I'll just
Is leverage when you hear the word leverage, is leverage bad?
No, I think.
See, I've been thinking that too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when
agree
you say
with
leverage, like you meaning just in general?
Just in general, like you can take advantage of a person, but I
Absolutely.
don't necessarily, like I've been thinking a lot about like leverage, right? Like I don't think it's wrong to want to get into somebody else's audience. Right?
Yeah,
like
nah.
if your message is pure, you know what I'm saying? So like for the CHH game, if you're maybe just coming up and you want to get a feature on missions or vice versa, it's like I don't think that's bad, you know? And I also, based on the person and the behind closed doors conversations, I don't think it's always thirsty either. So like,
I don't think so. I think I agree, because like I feel like when we talk about leverage and we talk about features and we talk about getting people to pull up to a show or something like that, because people hit me up for features like all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not even necessarily, for one, like we got to like start being realistic, right? Like, is your music good? Not because somebody from, you know, your church told you it's good. Like, is it actually good? Like, do you need to take some time? Your
youth pastor.
right, your youth pastor, like, they just want you to get up there and jump around.
Yeah.
But, like, is it actually good? Like, can we take this to...
KAG. Can KAG work with this?
Yeah,
Nah, like,
because behind the scenes, it'd be wild. I'd be like, bro, this suck.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell nobody that to their face, unless you ask me. I'm not.
So if you send him a feature, just know that one of you is not very good.
Bro, this is not it. But then that's where that leverage come in, because money could be leverage at that point.
100%.
You never know where I'm at. I might need this $1,000 that you finna give me for this feature, and I'm only doing it for the money at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't like to be put in that position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when we're talking about leverage, right, it's okay, because I'm like, hey, you got a good platform, I got a good platform. Let's come together, and it's going to make everybody, it's a win. It's a win. It's a win for everybody. But then when you have no leverage and you're a new artist, up-and-coming artist, like, it's a ministry, but it's also a business. And it's also time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a family, like a real family, 4 kids, a wife, and they're all demanding. Yeah, they're all demanding of my time. Mm-hmm. So you want me, just because you're a Christian, it's not good to take 2 to 3 hours away from my demanding family, every other responsibility that I have, to give you a verse that's probably not going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
You got to make it worthwhile.
No, that's like so true. And I feel like, especially in the church, right? Not every church, not every Christian, but especially in the church. And for like, I'm kind of like just now starting to break my mold of this, but like the more poor you are, or the more you get a deal, or like the more you just like do things for other people, they call it serving, right? And it's like, but my family's struggling. Right. So it's like, it's not, and I think that sometimes the church teaches this: the more poor you are, right, the more you sacrifice and you serve, the more holy you are. Wow. But what I'm seeing is men of God, women of God who love Jesus, they're putting him first, and they're using money as a tool. Mm-hmm. And so I watched, you know who Jeremy Anderson is? He's a very famous professional speaker, but he loves Jesus. Okay. And he goes around and he's he's a keynote. Like,
Yeah, he the guy.
it's tens of thousands, like ET status. So he does work with ET.
Okay.
So one time he walked out of his house and his child was sad, right? And like called him when he was getting on the plane, super sad. He was leaving again. Like he's got to go speak every weekend. And he just told his wife, he's like, price go up. Because it's like, now it's affecting time with my family. And think what you want. Yeah. Christian, secular, like think what you want, but we need money, 100%. You know? Yeah. We don't need to be filthy rich with private jets, but my family needs to survive. Absolutely. And I need to provide for them. So like, no, that's a huge point. And I've been wanting to kind of address this topic, if you will. I know it's going to come up on here, but like, just because you sacrifice everything, you serve your life in the church, you're poor, does not mean that you have to do that, does not mean that you're more holy. Exactly. And does not mean that all rich people are evil. Right.
Exactly. And it's like, you know, when someone builds a platform or when someone puts their blood, sweat, and tears, time, prayer, money, and they build it up to a situation, like, why do you feel automatically entitled to be a part of that just because we're in the same faith? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that says I have to give you this. Now, like, and with me, like, I respond to mostly everyone, and like, I'm not saying it's like I'm just crazy huge.
No, but I think that's huge that you're intentional with.
Yeah, I'm intentional with that because, like, just the Christian in me, the loving God's people in me, everyone deserves a response.
Bro, you're a reachable person.
Yeah, and I want to be intentionally that because, like, I don't understand how you could be a Christian and not be approachable.
It's weird.
That's super weird to me. Like, how are you a Christian? And the main thing we're here to do is to win people back to God. Yeah, you have to be a people person. 100%. You have to be approachable. Yeah, and a lot of artists and a lot of even pastors and they're not approachable. It's just like you just get up and you do whatever it is that you do, your talent, and then you think that's enough. It's like, no, people need people. You know what I'm saying? You have to love your neighbor.
Hey, are you in your 20s or 30s and maybe you feel lost or confused and you have questions? Well, part of what I've done the past 2 years is mentored and coached plenty of young adults. I've heard and seen things in their lives. I've studied trends that are going on in your generation. And here's what I want to do. I want to help and serve you. I want to walk with you, and I want to answer any questions that you have. I want to do life with you. So here's the thing. There's a link in my bio. It is a Zoom call to book a call one-on-one with me to go through life's problems. I want to connect with you on a personal level. This is completely free. I am simply passionate about the next generation, and I want to be able to pour into you, connect with you, disciple you, mentor you, whatever it is that you need. I want to connect. So go on the link, book a call with me right now. Let's go.
And so that's why, like, I try to respond to everybody. I try to at least that. But then when you get to the point where it's like, all right, bro, I can't invest any more time into, you know, what you're doing because it just either it's not worth it, you don't have enough leverage. But I don't want to sound like a robot or sound like someone who's just harsh. Yeah. But it is that point as well. Like, all right, bro, like I said, what's up? All right, I don't really got time for that right now. So let me, I got to
be a burden to my family because of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, and I'm speaking Christian artists just because I've been doing it for so long, they think just because we're Christian and we believe the same thing, sort of, we have to work together or we have to like each other. We have to, collaborate. Sure. And it's like, sometimes it's not going to work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I may do a feature for someone just because I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna just do it.
Which is cool.
Exactly.
You don't
but I don't
always
have to.
No, you don't always have to draw a hard line. Like,
exactly.
No, I'm just not. Like, no, that is the love of Christ.
Because I've done features for people for pretty much pennies, and I didn't even really like the song. I just felt like, all right, man, I'm gonna just do it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I've turned down features because I just didn't like it. And I was like, I don't even want to take your money because I'm not gonna give you I'm not even in the headspace to do it. You know what I'm saying? So two artists, and I'll wrap it up with this. Two artists who are looking for features from bigger artists For one, you got to make it worth their while. It has to be good if you don't want to play yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because now the thing is like, I'm gonna get a feature and then I'm gonna expect them to put it on their Spotify when I have 100,000 monthly listeners and you have 50 monthly listeners and you want to pay for a feature, but then you also want to put it on the platform. It's just like.
So that's a choice?
That's a choice, yeah.
Okay, so
That's a
if
choice.
I ask you to be on my song, I put it on my Spotify, you have a choice to put it on yours?
Exactly.
Okay.
So now that's two different fees.
Sure, yeah.
Because now you're trying to double dip. And like we only look at it from one side. We look at it from the side of, well, man, I paid you for a feature, so put it up on your platform.
Like it's owed?
Yeah, it's just like, nah, bro, you paid for a feature, you didn't pay for promotion.
It's like an unwritten
You didn't pay for me, you didn't pay for me to come out and do the video and all that. You know what I'm saying? So we want something for nothing a lot. And I just think, you know, on both sides, the artist can be upfront and honest about like, hey, this is what you're paying for. If you want this is what this costs.
Sure.
Unless I want to do that. I'm not a bad guy if I don't want to do that. But I do think the artists have to be more upfront and honest about, because a lot of times, and I don't agree with this, they just take the cash money and just go ghost after they give them the verse. Don't post it, don't repost it, don't share it or nothing like that. I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
But I also think it's wrong for a Christian artist or whatever type of artist to pay for a verse and just expect somebody to do promotion, promote the song like it's their song. Like, it's not my song.
Yeah. So it's like, it's all expectation and no communication.
Exactly. Communicate on both sides.
Yeah, which is huge. Who is somebody that you would maybe want to feature with that you haven't yet? You've been in, if there is somebody off top, like.
Who would I want to feature with? I definitely need a Lecrae feature just because he's a GOAT, bro. Like, look, say what you want about Lecrae, you know what I'm saying? He's our GOAT. Like, he's paved the way.
Yeah.
He's, you know, he's just he's our GOAT.
He pretty much like
he's groundbreaking. He paved the way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of these eyes are on us because of what he did. So I definitely need a Lecrae feature.
What do you think that vibe would be like? Like, what kind of song would you want to put out like that?
Man, Cray hop on anything, man. Yeah, we gonna go crazy. I mean, like, something like hard trap, or we could do something fun, like, you know, like we could do something West Coast, because, you know.
It'd be tough.
Yeah, you know, he be
all right, so
down in San Diego. Cray, hit me up, man. Let's do it. So definitely the Cray feature, and then just because he from, you ever heard of Big Crit?
What is it?
Big Crit.
Nope.
He's he actually did a song with Lecrae.
Okay.
Like, he's a secular artist, but he's a Christian as well.
Was it recent or?
It was, I think it was on Anomaly or after Anomaly.
Okay.
It was one of them albums. I'm probably wrong, but they did a feature together. Okay. So, and because he's from Mississippi too. He's from Meridian.
I didn't know that.
Which is not far from where I'm from. So I want that feature. A lot of people don't know, but it's what it is. It's just like,
sick though.
Yeah.
Well, do you know him? Like, are you friends?
No, we reached out and he was like 10 bands. They had the money. So it was like,
it's crazy.
We'll get back.
It's crazy up here. Yeah. Hey, we'll get there. When we do, we'll call you.
But it wasn't even like a direct line to him.
Sure.
It was somebody that was like, hey, normally it'd be like 10 bands or something like that. But, you know, right now he don't even have the time to do it. But they at least let us know. And
here's
we
the
just
price.
like, it was like, all right, we'll get y'all back. I couldn't justify the price.
See, the thing with my bank account.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Where my bank account
way it's set up.
Okay, so top 5 artists.
Oh, my God.
In the game right now.
In what game?
Right now, in the CHH game.
CHH?
Yeah.
Man, I just had this conversation, too.
Don't switch it up.
No, I can't.
Because they're going to call, man.
I just had this conversation,
and it doesn't have to be in any particular order, but I just want to hear, like, who's on Mission's, like, playlist? Like, who are you bumping all day long? Besides yourself, if you're bumping your stuff, but...
Paris Chariz is definitely in my top.
He's in your top?
Yeah.
And he was on your recent album, too.
Yeah. I'm just a fan of his. It's just what it is. Paris... Dang, it's tough because, like,
right, we could cut.
I got it. I even no.
The pauses.
No. All right, so I got Paris.
People are gonna be butthurt too. That's why he's like,
they'll be all right. Sure. Yeah. Nobody be putting me in their top 5, so I don't care. I got Paris. I got Aaron Cole. I got Alano Adon. I got Mike Teasy. Who's my fifth? And I got Jay Monty.
I was gonna say, dude.
But look though, there's so many honorable mentions.
There is.
Yeah, but it just is
So
what it
don't
is.
be hurt. He's not
Right.
saying them, but he's thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought about you, but nah. I would say those are like my top for sure.
Yeah. Jay Monty has like literally changed.
Jay Monty different, bro.
Dude, his pen game, I've never.
Crazy. It's crazy.
And I grew up on secular rap, and it's like I don't know anybody personally with a crazier pen game, and it's meaningful.
He will bring he will say one line
Dude,
and then say
it
3
means
lines.
30 things.
Exactly.
His similes and metaphors and antonyms, and he even raps about those. Like,
exactly. It's crazy.
Dude, yeah. I don't remember what that song is called, but he's talking about like the synonym and the sin in him.
Yeah, he be doing.
I'm like, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we took you through a highlight reel. Like, I want you to tell a little bit about your story. Like, and you can kind of skip some parts, but like growing up, what was your life like? I don't know if there was anything significant in Mississippi, but like, talk about how'd you get here?
Yeah.
Right? Because the podcast is brick by brick. So we talk about building. So I typically start with the highlights, but God uses bricks to build. And if you notice back here, there's blemishes on these bricks, right? So like we have blemishes, we have scars, we have trauma, but bricks can also weather storms.
100%.
So like I know your story, some of it, and I know you've been through some storms like I have. So like, man, now I want to talk about those. Yeah, that's what I like to talk about. Is like what made you who you are today.
Yeah, man. So it's funny. Like when I say Mississippi roots, California grown. Like there's like two sides to who I am.
Sure.
Right. And so I'll start in Mississippi, like small town, poverty stricken. But when I say roots, that's where I got rooted, because since it's small town poverty, we stuck together. Like I'm talking grandma's house, like all of us packed in my grandma's house, eating what we could. I stayed with a lot of my family members. Just because, mom, internal affairs, moving back and forth, trying to find herself. As I got older, I understood why she did what she did, as far as like moving so many times. I felt like she was running from something. But, I'll let her tell her story. She ever did. Sure. So in Mississippi, I learned how to be loyal. I learned how to, be caring. I learned how to survive.
Yeah.
So in Mississippi, I did get into gangs, things like that. And that bond I built with those guys, like we still talk to this day.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
And like we have a group chat, you know what I'm saying, on Facebook. They be on Facebook, which I don't know. I'm like, bro, y'all can't go to Instagram. But so we be on Facebook and we still talk to these days. And it let me know that it's like, the way we came together was on some, like we finna run it up type stuff.
Yeah.
But we still build a bond and a brotherhood that, you know what I'm saying? Like I think it's unbreakable, because the guys that I was with are like solid individuals. It's just products of their environments and, their circumstance. So I see past the thuggish, the gun toting and all that.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I love you as a person and as a brother. So that side of me, is where I got the roots from, because I didn't go to church when I was in Mississippi. We didn't, like, the South is like the Bible Belt, but for whatever reason, my family, we just wasn't in church like that. Yeah. My grandma, she would always say like these church sayings and these, she'd say, "Thank you, Lord, we made it safe." Every time we got to any destination, you know what I'm saying? And that stuck with me.
Subconsciously, that was with you. Yeah.
It stuck with me every time she said it. And then as I got older, I realized like, man, grandma was a praying grandma.
100%.
I didn't know it at the time. I thought she was just saying stuff, but I remember her saying it all the time. And so fast forwarding to when I came out here is when I met my best friend, and he's still my best friend to this day. He brought me to church.
Yeah.
And he brought me to this building, this huge building that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I started getting to Christian living and learning about God, learning about Jesus, and all those. So
how old was this? Is this at 9?
This is I'll say we started going around like probably like 10 or 11.
Okay.
Maybe like 11 or 12 is when I started like going to youth group and, you know, being involved in stuff like that. But so I had that side out in Sacramento in California.
Yeah.
But then also when I would go back home, like I was telling you, we traveled like literally every year. I'm going to Mississippi, staying for 4 or 5 months. Then we're moving back to Sacramento, staying for 4 or 5 months. Then in the same year, moving back.
Wow.
Literally. And people ask me all the time, oh, you're military? Heck no. You know what I'm saying? We just moving, we going back in it. But in that, it caused me to have almost 2 identities. Because back home, back home in Mississippi, we in the streets, we in the hood, like, I got to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to school without, you know, 4 or 5 of my homies. If they don't go to school, I'm not going to school. Because really, I'm scared because we banging and all that type of stuff. And it's just like, you get caught slipping, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but then when I come back here, I'm around church. I'm around, way different. But even though we never stayed, like my mom never owned a home or nothing like that. So we always stayed in apartments and things like that. So we're in bad neighborhoods, but like I'm going because I'm at church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now it just created this, like, all right, I'm this guy here because I have to be. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm this here. Just, man, this feels right though. This is more comfortable.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got older and I started realizing, like, man, like, I got to be one way. And it wasn't that I was like fake or anything like that, or I was someone I wasn't. It was just survival. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's rough from growing up. You know what I'm saying? Where we from. But then out here, it's not sweet in Sacramento. We know that. But, you know, I guess God just used Napier to help guide me, you know what I'm saying, and introduce me to God and to Christ. And I met my wife at that church. You know, they got my first studio was bought by the youth pastor. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's things like that. And I just look back and I reflect, like me not having a dad, but always like out here. I'm saying out here, like everybody know where we at. In Sacramento, people, like I always had a male figure in my life from the church that would correct me, that, you know, I always was like, I always was led towards like stronger men. I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? But in leadership, like I never disliked it. I never I was like, all right, correct me. You know what I'm saying? Cool. All right, cool.
It's not normal.
It's not. And I never realized why I was like that. But
which is weird because typically people that come from struggle, for some reason it correlates with I don't like authority and leadership.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's from fatherlessness too, but that's interesting that you didn't.
Yeah, I never bucked against it. I always like, it was almost like I was looking for someone to
craving it.
Yeah, like, man, help lead me so I can, because I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like the lifestyle. I wanted better. I wanted more, you know what I'm saying, for me and my family. So God always had some male figure that I can look up to.
Huge.
That put away every excuse. And, you know, I really started taking Christianity serious once I had my daughter, because I had a child out of wedlock. Me and my wife, up to this day, she got pregnant when she was 17.
How old were you?
17. We were both 17. Yeah. And we got married right away, which was a disaster. The first marriage was a disaster. I'll go into that. But we, like, once I had my daughter, I was just like, man, I was like, I can make the same mistakes and follow down the path that my dad did, or I could change. And that's when I just began to take church more serious, show up more. And in that, you know, even though some things were like wrong with some of the leadership that I was under, but also it goes back to that, like, I had a better example.
Yeah.
So I had no excuse. God always left me with no excuse. It's like, yeah, you don't got no dad, but this person is trying to be a father in your life.
It's huge.
Yeah, this is a bad leader, but this is a good leader right here. You know what I'm saying? So I always
He just replaces it.
He replaces it, and I always had a choice. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, I follow a bad leader. He's like, that's not the way, so let me go. You know what I'm saying? Let me go over here.
Yeah.
So that's when I started taking it serious when I had my daughter, just because I just felt that responsibility of like, nah, I need to raise her right. I don't want her to be pregnant at 17. You know what I'm saying? I got to make sure
that's a good point.
that I'm on mine.
You change your perspective almost looking at it through the lens of your own flesh and blood and your daughter.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and, you know, she don't know it, but she changed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, from that moment, God used my daughter. And it's funny because KAG, he just had a daughter.
Oh, wow.
And I see how it changed him. Like, because
That's awesome.
He's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Keeney was a hothead. He's just flying off the handle all the time. But I see how his daughter, it's funny how God will use a situation or a person or a human being to just like get you rooted and just be
That's huge.
I need you to sit down and chill out for a second.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
100%.
So you mentioned your first marriage.
Right.
But you're still married to your wife.
To my wife. Yeah. So we got married at 18, and I'm coming from a broken home. Like my mom, she was married, but their relationship, like I hated my stepdad because he wasn't there for us. Like he wasn't there for it. He was just there for my mom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I seen him abuse her in the way of like take her kindness for weakness. You know what I'm saying? I never seen him like, I mean, he did put his hands on her one time, but it wasn't abusive that way. It was more like I'm watching her work 16 hours and he just at the house all day with us. You know what I'm saying? That's abuse to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You see her struggling and you just sitting down. You know what I'm saying? And she paying all the bills. You just outside washing the car. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing? So
and he missed the spot.
Exactly. Right. So they like, so she breaking up with him and, you know, going back and forth and from Mississippi to here and there every time they break up or whatever. And then, and so that's my example of marriage. Yeah. And then my wife, her mom was, you know, her mom and her dad had their affairs. They were, you know what I'm saying? Her mom was ex-drug addict, but she's like amazing now. Her dad, same, in and out of jail and stuff like that. So that was her example. Sure. And we were kind of, I don't say, I would say we were forced into marriage, and because like we were youth leaders at the time, and they're like, hey, you guys need to get married.
What's going on here?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we was like, all right, bet, let's do it. It's like we just ordering Chick-fil-A or something. That was wise. Right, yeah, let's just get the number 2. Like, so I'm like, but this is a whole marriage, and we're young, and we're, you know, just going off for our trusted leaders and just like, hey, yep, get married, cool. And, you know, everything else will work itself out. And it didn't. Yeah. And, you know, there was infidelity, there was, you know, mental abuse, verbal abuse. Yeah. There was no physical. It was more like just we didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. Like I didn't know how to. All I knew was grind.
It's 2 kids with no examples being thrown into a fire and saying, climb out.
Exactly. And I'm like, all right, so I'm just going to work. All right, cool. I'm going to just throw myself into Exactly. I'm going to just throw myself into music. I'm going to throw myself into ministry. And I see a lot of people to where they think that, hey, I'm going to just work. I'm going to just serve. I'm going to just be at the church. But then we forget what our first ministry is, which is, you know what I'm saying, your spouse. Yeah. And, you know, they think it's almost like you're on a high horse. Well, I'm at church. How dare you?
You can use it as justification.
Exactly. And I did. I for sure did.
So have I.
Like, I'm at church. What are you
going to say?
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
I'm doing God's work. What are you going to say?
Exactly. But God is like, well, you're not doing the real work. Yeah. And for me, it came to that when I serving man, because I was so influenced and I was so looking for a leader. And that's where I got taken advantage of, in the sense of where it's like, oh, you're a leader? You're a man of God? All right, cool. Whatever you need. Because I'm looking for that validation that I never got from my father. For sure. You know what I'm saying? So I needed that manly voice to speak into my life, to say good job, so I'm serving and I'm doing all these things, and I'm like, I just want you to say good job.
That's dang. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just want you to say, oh man, I'm proud of you. Oh, you keep showing up. Thank you. Good job. Like
that's it.
That's all I'm looking for.
You don't want no reward other than words.
That's it. And it didn't take me until I got older to realize that. Yeah. And ultimately I'm getting that from God. But that led me to serve man, bro. And I was frustrated at some point, you know what I'm saying, with God. But I was like, well, God, why did you let me go through, you know what I'm saying? But now I understand, it's like, you went through that. So somebody else, you can be vocal and you can speak. So somebody else don't have to go through that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I think there's so many people out there that are in that same boat right now. I think
100%.
of like when you're saying that, Galatians 1:10. So am I now trying to win the approval of God or of man? If I was trying to win the approval of man, I would no longer be a bondservant of Christ. So it's literally saying, if you're trying to win the approval of man, you're no longer serving, you're no longer a servant of Christ himself, because you're so seeking validation through people. And bro, I was just talking about this the other day on here about like balance. I'm like having a hard time balancing stuff, but I was just talking about like our first ministry is our marriage.
100%.
And there were times in my past, like beginning in ministry, I would justify doing God's work. I'm mentoring, I'm counseling, I'm taking a Zoom call, I got to go do the meeting here. But my wife's over here like, but what about me? You know?
Yep.
Like, but
We expect them to understand.
100%. You have to understand this because I'm doing God's work. So I'll get back to you later. Why am I giving more time, effort, biblical counsel, wisdom to an individual, right? Which I should be doing. That's my job. That's my calling.
Right.
But I'm now neglecting my first ministry because you're escaping something.
Yeah.
Right? And you're escaping to seek. So you're escaping problems, stress, trauma, and you're now seeking validation or approval of people. And that feels good.
100%.
Like whether people are willing to admit it or not.
Yes, it does.
We crave, our deepest desire is to be known and heard and loved and recognized. And words of affirmation is that's a love language.
100%.
But I believe it's not just a love language. I think it's every human's like deep down desire.
Yeah.
It's just good job. Like as a coach, me myself, but then hearing it from a coach too, playing sports. I know you played sports and you have son. Like, hey, good game.
Good job. Yeah, good game.
I saw you out there.
Yep.
Good game.
That's all you want to hear.
Like, it's huge. So I think so many men watching this could be right now trying to escape something, someone, trauma, problems. What would your wisdom be, having gone through it? Why should they not escape it and address it? What would it have benefited you if you had done that? So kind of give people wisdom with hindsight.
Absolutely. I think if I want to say like, I mean, first and foremost, you got to go through it.
Yeah.
Right. And, some stuff is avoidable, but when I went through what I went through, what I'm saying, for me, it was like, I needed that. I didn't need all the mess that it came with, but I needed that for understanding. And I think the most important thing, man, is having that relationship. And I think in ministry, in whatever we do, we get so caught up in what it is we're doing, and we're forgetting the person who put us up to do it.
That's good.
Right? So when my encouragement, my wisdom would be, it's like, man, we got to get back to God. And the reason I say that is because when I'm not, I can feel it, bro. Like if I'm not reading for a couple of days, or if I'm not praying, like I start to feel a drift.
Sure.
And I'm like, man, I got to get back to God. And then that's when, so the whole time I'm doing ministry in our first marriage, like I really believe I wasn't walking with God. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because if I was, maybe he would have been like, hey, maybe you should go home. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you should this time say no. And I know that because that's what he does now. Yeah. There are times where I'll be like, I'm not gonna go to the studio today because I just spent 3 days in the studio. Yeah. So I'm not gonna go today. And I know that's the Holy Spirit talking to me. Yeah. He says, renew your mind every day. Yeah. Holy Spirit is there to help you. And when you're not in tune with God, we tend to go through things. We tend to not hear, because he'll tell you to go left, and then if you went right, a bus would have hit you. You know what I'm saying? And but you got to be open to hear, and you have to seek his voice, and the desires, whatever it is that you're looking for. And it's like, it seems so like just easy to say, just spend time with God, but it's like that has been the entire thing with God. He's trying to get us back in his presence. Yes. And that's where we learn to not go to the tree and eat the forbidden fruit. Right? It's good. But once we step out of that, and that pertains to everything, it's like if God is with me, he's not gonna like let anything happen.
That's it.
Not anything happen.
No, but
you know
I
what
get
I
what
mean.
you're saying. It's
Yeah.
like a good father.
Exactly.
We have to understand, and once we come to this revelation, he wants what's best for us.
Exactly.
Asterisk. Sometimes what's best for us is going through hard things.
Exactly. 100%.
It's as simple as that. I've learned more in the last 5 years of being a Christian after getting arrested and going through a bunch of stupid stuff that I did. I've learned more in that than I have in the first 20 years of my life.
Yep.
Like spiritually.
Yep.
It only took God doing something in the last 5 years of my life that it's like, I'm on mission now.
Yep.
Like no pun intended. Like I'm going. Like there's no other option for me now. Okay, so talk about practically real quick. What does that look like for you? Like men out there watching, too cool for church, too cool for school. I don't want to read my Bible. I just expect God to come to me. Like what does that look like practically for you? Like spiritual disciplines, church.
Yeah.
And it's obviously changed your life. So
absolutely,
practically give people.
I think practically, man, it's like when we talk about the when it says "come as you are," right? And I think God, when He says that, like, He's not talking about clothes. He's talking about come exactly as you are. So if your practical is reading a scripture once a month, you know what I'm saying? And if you're consistent with that, and then you go 2 days, you know what I'm saying, twice a month, whatever that is, whatever your practical is, mine is, hey, I need to wake up and before I grab my phone and go to Instagram, I need to start, I'm gonna just go to the Bible app and I'm gonna try to start reading just to get my mind off of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna start my day saying a prayer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned in those bad churches that I was in, or through bad leadership, I want to say bad churches, but through bad leadership, me projecting what my convictions is on someone else is normally not a good thing, because a lot of times they say you need to, and it made me not do it. So when they were like, you need to read, you need to be able to pray for an hour. You need to be able to read 16 chapters a day. And that's the expectation that they're putting on me. And I'm just like, dang, I can't even pray for 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But really, I could say something in a minute of a prayer that's from my heart, and you just performing this prayer for an hour, you know what I'm saying, was more impactful. You know what I'm saying? So what the advice I would give is like, start exactly where you are. If every day you just say, God, thank you for waking me up, give me, the strength to keep going and help me to get closer to you. If you say that and that was your prayer, I think God will be, and that's genuinely from your heart.
Yeah.
I think God is happy with that, because it says to draw close, I'm gonna draw to you, right? So you just got to start somewhere.
Yeah, just start, period.
Just start. And just whatever that means for you.
Yeah.
Not what it means for me.
Yeah.
Not what it means for Drew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just what it means for you.
Because I think we can compare super easily, right?
Absolutely.
Or you look at a person who's maybe dialed in their faith, but they've been through the disciplines and they seem dialed. Or maybe they are dialed.
Struggle with that, man.
Maybe they are dialed, right? But it's like we compare. Like, man, that dude can like quote the Bible and he knows his scripture, and he's just pulling scripture from everywhere. It's like they probably put in time, But just because they're there, they've probably been there. They've probably been prepping. They've been reading.
But
they've had a mentor.
with that so much. That's why I say I'm so adamant about it. It's like, I struggle with seeing these great men, these great speakers, and I'm like, man, that's what it takes. And then it makes me feel little, because I'm like, dang, I don't have that in me.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. That's not what it takes, right? It's by grace through faith. That's it.
Exactly.
And people get that skewed, right? But it's also not an excuse not to grow. So I would tell people that it's not that we can't look at those people and have a flip perspective and be like, I want to get that.
Exactly.
Disciple me, And I want to get into that in a second. But you're saying at the past churches, like you just felt like there's like these rules. You got to pray for an hour. You got to read this many scriptures. And it's like Jesus rebuked the Pharisees for that very reason. Right?
Yeah.
6 times he says, woe to you Pharisees, you hypocrites.
Exactly. Yep.
You hypocrites. And he says, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. That leaven, people think it's sin. It's not actually sin. It's false teaching. They were putting on the people, right, heavier yokes, like heavier burdens. You have to follow these rules, this rule. You have to quote this. You have to read the Torah. Remember, It's like, I thought it was by grace through faith.
Right.
You know, and now Jesus is showing up on the scene and he's teaching things in parables and he's rebuking these religious leaders who are now giving extra biblical rules. And he's saying, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees because it spreads widely through the church. And so, yeah, we always want to be careful, one, comparing to other people who, like, if it's your prerogative to memorize scripture and pray for an error, praise Jesus.
Dope, yeah.
Go. Come on now. Do it. But for me to project it, like you were saying, and I've done that, you know?
Yeah.
Like I've done that before. But that's not biblical. That is not.
There's so much stuff, bro. And I'm like, that I had to unlearn. I'm like, bro, why are you preaching on this right now?
Yeah.
Like, this has nothing to do with anything. Like, what are you talking about?
We be doing some crazy things sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, but it is what it is, man. The body of Christ. One time before I got a ministry, a wise man once told me, he said, the body is flawed. It's like, what does that mean? The body is flawed.
Yeah.
It's flawed right when you and I walk in.
Mm-hmm.
So like for us to expect even leaders, top tier leaders in the church, like to be flawless.
It's crazy.
We're now unbiblical.
Yeah.
So it's like this, it's like, it's us too.
Right.
Right. It's like we're expecting something that's like we shouldn't be.
Right.
And so it's the church gets muddy. Christ is perfect.
Right.
And he's coming back for a spotless bride.
Yeah.
But the Christians are very imperfect and we're very flawed and we mess up a lot and we teach some bad things sometimes. It doesn't mean leave the church. That's for somebody. It doesn't mean hate Christians. It doesn't mean all pastors are bad and they're clout seeking. And it doesn't mean, you know, that every Christian is hurtful.
Right.
You know, or trying to project things on you.
Right.
So I feel like there's people watching that probably church hurt. They use the word church hurt. No, somebody hurt you. It wasn't the church of Christ, but it was somebody or people in it, and they are flawed, you know? So, okay, so when did you meet Pastor Damien? Because I wanted to talk about him.
Yeah.
Of how important he has been.
I met Pastor Damien, I think, when I was 17, 18.
Talk about, like, combined, right? Give me just a rundown of how important has his mentorship been in your life, and then part two, like how important is discipleship? Yeah,
so Pastor Damien is super important. Just pretty much like as now pastor, like I seen him in every.
Yeah, you were mentioning this, which is super cool.
I seen him youth pastor, young adult pastor, associate pastor, and now pastor. So like
every phase,
and every phase. He's always been there for me. So when we went through the divorce, he showed me what true discipleship was. He showed me what truly being pastored is. And I think I say this, but I understand every pastor or every mentor don't have the capacity to do as much as he did for me. Like literally when I was going through my divorce, when I was going through hurt and pain, I'm literally calling him midnight and he's standing on the phone with me for an hour, 2 hours, talking me through it. So we go back to loyalty, you know what I'm saying? From my childhood, my roots, that built loyalty.
That triggered something and you're like,
yeah. I'm like, this dude, you know what I'm saying? This dude's a real deal. You know what I'm saying? And the thing I love about Pastor Damien the most is like, he never puts himself on a pedestal.
Yeah.
But he also never makes himself seem low, but he's humble at the same time.
Yeah, it's huge.
He says, I'm not too big for small rooms and I'm not too small for big rooms.
That's good.
And he stayed dropping like dimes on me. And I'm like, man, no, super wise, bro. Like, and he gives me the confidence and the courage to do certain things, to have certain conversations with people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you have someone like that, that's why I said, man, I told him, I said, bro, as long as you following Christ, I'm following you everywhere. Because he showed me what it is to be pastored, to be discipled, not just come here, honor me, serve me, and then I'll preach to you and that's what you get in return. See you next Sunday. No, it's, hey man, if you need me, call me. And really, when I call you, you're taking the time of saying, hey man, but then also challenging me to like, hey, bro, we just spent the hour on the phone. Are you applying any of this I'm talking to you about?
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying?
He's not afraid to correct.
He's not afraid to correct at all. And that, like, his boldness, how he walks into a room and he's just himself. And that gives me the courage to be myself.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
man.
huge.
And he shows like his flaws. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't present himself as perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been in meetings and we've been in, certain things, and I've seen him may say something and then correct himself. You know what? I apologize. I was wrong. Like, that's huge to me.
Yeah.
Because when you're the man or when you're in a position of power and authority and you can't correct yourself, you know what I'm saying? And just be like, you know what? I apologize. I was wrong. I'm going to lose respect for you.
Yeah.
But I've seen him. Nah, man, I'm wrong. I'm cool. Like that's not cool. I shouldn't have said it like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's really good.
So that's where it's like when, like, I'm the type, like, somebody say something more stupid at the game or something, I'm ready to go like, bro, what you say? You know what I'm saying?
You're like Peter.
Yeah, right. Nobody said nothing crazy, but that's like how, like, ready I am. You know what I'm saying? But it's always been it's always been a him giving. You know what I'm saying? And him, that's why it's like, bro, I'll do anything. Like, hey, what you need? Oh, cool, I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because if I needed it from him, he gonna do the same thing.
Hey, if you're watching this and you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're in a profession where content is king. Maybe you have this awesome idea, but you're not getting it out there. You don't have the resources, the capability, the skill set, the knowledge to produce it in video form. Well, I have good news. I have a team that does. We want to make that vision come to life. I'm talking anything from graphic design, website building, videography, content creation tips, anything that you need. We want to be a resource for you. We want to be available to you. And so I want you to do a couple things. The first thing, you'll see a link in the description. I want you to click that. Me and you are going to do a discovery call over Zoom. I am going to ask you questions about what it is that you want. We're going to talk vision. We're going to talk dream. We're going to talk what you want to make that vision. And the next thing that's going to happen, we're going to assign one of my team members to you to make that happen. Or it could be myself, depending on what it is. We want to be somebody who creates a one-stop shop to fully package an awesome piece of content for you. So if you like what you see, you think, hey, this sounds like it could be for me, this is something I want to explore, then I encourage you, hit that link. Let's do a Zoom call. Let's make a dream come true. Let's get back to the conversation.
And I think a lot of times like when people have positions of leadership and hey, I'm preaching to you, so that's it. It's like, nah, man, like, I don't need to hear a sermon right now. I need you to hear me out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was that for me. So that's always going to be somebody I like honor, respect, and have a lot of love for.
Yeah, the best shepherds should always smell like sheep. Mm-hmm. This is what I was told.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that is like my favorite line in ministry.
That's hard.
Because if you think about it, Jesus smelled like the flock. He wasn't sitting in a tower.
Exactly.
He wasn't like chilling with the elites. He was only rebuking the elites.
Right.
He wasn't kicking it with them.
He wasn't rocking with them at all.
He was even teaching them in parables. He wouldn't even use plain speech. Like, that's so cool about, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but like, he was rocking with the 12, explaining what he just said.
Right.
But to the elites, he was like, you guys get a story and you can figure it out.
Right.
But I think it's so cool, when God uses one person who's simply loyal, they're faithful, they're intentional, and the last is the most important, they're present.
Yeah.
They show up for you. Right. They're just there. Like, they just want to be with the flock. They want to smell like sheep. Like, that is the most truest form of a shepherd for me. And we need more of those pastors, right?
Yeah,
it's all pastor means is shepherd, but we need more people who are willing to just sit, disciple, listen, correct, challenge, and grow with the person. Because you guys are like boys. Yeah. Right? He's a spiritual mentor, but you guys are boys, and that all started with
big brother,
simply him showing up and being present in the most trying time of your life.
And I'll say this too, like, it's not even and I understand every pastor or leader, like, obviously it's all on capacity. Like, some pastors, they pastor a 10,000 member
and you got to delegate.
You got to delegate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But there should be people in your life that's like, that you are discipling, like, personally and closely. And it's not always about them honoring you and them putting you on this pedestal and serving and, you know what I'm saying? It's got to be that reciprocity. You know what I'm saying? It has to be that. You know what I'm saying? That person that can call you and tell you, you know what I'm saying? And then I have people that, you know, I speak into their life, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, I'm here for you if you need me. Like, yeah, cool. Let's sit on this phone. So he did it for me. Now I'm trickling down. I'm hoping the people I do it for, they doing it to someone else. You know what I'm saying?
That's huge.
And then now we create this, you know, this community. We create these healthy leaders.
You
know what I'm saying? Because it's starting from the top. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Pastor Dean too, because like he changed like the way that I looked at a lot of things as far as like pastors, because it was when I was at Real Life and I walked in one day. I think it was helping set up chairs. I see him on this like, what are those ladders that like raise up, whatever those little things are? He was on top of there fixing a light.
Oh, a lift?
And I see, a lift. And I just looked at him like, in my head, I was like, why is a pastor?
You don't got facilities?
Right. I'm like, why is a pastor up here fixing a light? You know what I'm saying?
Because he's a pastor.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And, you know, shout out to him for that, because ever since then, I was just like, man.
Isn't that funny how one little moment that he's like,
it made me want to serve more. It made me want to help. It's like, nah, man, get down. You go prep for your sermon. Like, I want to do this now so you don't have to do it. Because the fact that you're willing.
Dude.
And he says
so
towels, not titles. And I was like, okay.
What does he say?
Towels, not titles. So he's like, I'm ready to, I'll get a towel and wipe up the floor. I don't care about my title.
That is tough.
And it was so crazy to see him actually not just saying that from the pulpit, but actually living it out.
Because that's another thing.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to Dean for that too.
Yeah. I've heard phenomenal things about Pastor Dean. So that's awesome.
Dude. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Top to bottom.
All right. So you were in Atlanta the other weekend.
No, I was in
Atlanta?
No, I was in LA.
Oh, I thought you went
to Atlanta. I was supposed to go to Atlanta.
Okay, you didn't go to Atlanta. Yeah. So, like, anything cooking or?
Oh,
what are we
speaking of Atlanta?
Going on,
so
bro?
I got a song with Few dropping.
Let's go.
1K
For those who don't,
yeah. I got a song with Few dropping.
Never had a collab with him.
Nope. It's a long time coming, and like we were supposed to do something, we never did it, and then he, you know what I'm saying, he's like, hey, it's time. So it's called Jackpot. Like he that dude is super dope, man. So
Jackpot.
Out. Yeah.
When's it come out?
It's next Friday. So on the 16th, I believe.
So Thursday
night. Yeah. 9 o'clock for West Coast time, but it's midnight for East Coast. But Jackpot featuring 1K Few.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's excited about it?
Absolutely. Because it's like, not just because he on it, but obviously because he's on it and he's excited about it, and he, you know, but it's just like, man, for me, it feels like we can put to rest any, like, oh, do y'all got issues with reach? Or no, it's like, no, there's no issue.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I had a lot of respect for Few, because when he seen me at Glowfest, the first Glowfest, bro, he was so humble. It's so like, hey, Mitch, we good. Like, and because I was a little like, man,
was there like something that was supposed to be beef, or like, what? Or why was there?
There wasn't even no beef. It's just like we felt that a song that he was a part of, like the video, and it had nothing to do with him. Mm-hmm. He was just on the song, and me and Brandon, like, we was like, hey man, like, y'all kind of stole our idea, but it wasn't him. It was more so we felt like the videographer.
Sure.
And then me being a hothead, I said something. I was like, man, they thought, because people started, and then it made it like we never spoke about it. We never, you know what I'm saying, had any words, any negative words, but it was just almost that silent, like, oh no, they don't rock with each other. But then as soon as he seen me, bro, like, it was like, hey, bro, we good. Like,
yeah.
And it just, I was just like, bro,
cool, free.
Few the coolest dude in the world, man. Like, he had an Atlanta dude for real. Like, so for us to have a record together, like, I think it's dope because he's dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be a good opportunity for me. And then just to, like, man, there ain't no issues. Like, we grown men with families. Nobody's, you know, I don't even know if people even remember that. But if they do, like, it was just so stupid.
It settles it too, though.
Exactly.
Like, if there wasn't.
If you thought there was, there's not. You know what I'm saying?
So, last album that you just dropped, I was at the listening party. That was fire.
Dope, man. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely,
too,
that was sick.
Yeah.
Me and Keith, my boy Keith, pulled up. It was
that's
dope.
my guy.
So Second Wind,
Yes, sir.
right? It wasn't just an album. That name meant something. So you're getting a second wind.
Right.
What's next for you? What's coming up in the near future?
Man, I don't know. And the reason I say I don't know is like I'm dropping music. Like I don't know if we're working on an album. Like
Sure.
because we're kind of like me, Kenny, and Mac. Shout out them, man, and Johnny J6, man. He don't even call
Your
himself
team,
J6
bro.
no
Your
more.
team.
I keep calling this man J6, and it's just Johnny. You always gonna be J6 to me, but like I got such a dope team, man. It's just like whatever I'm ready to do, they like, nah, let's lock in.
Let's go.
Let's get it. So like I'm sort of kind of working on an album, but I don't know. But I want to get out more, man, like shows and tour and stuff more. And I just don't, I'm just trying to make the right move with it. So I guess that's what's next. It's like, touring and, I'm going to continue to drop music and, I might drop an album in 2025.
And you're performing in Lawndale soon, right?
Yeah.
I saw? With Miles.
West Fest. Miles.
Is Miles
John Key.
headlining that? Or
Yeah, Miles headlining. Yeah, Miles headlining everything right now.
Miles is
It's the
popping.
Miles show right now.
Miles used to go to your shows, right?
Yeah, shout out Miles. Yeah.
yeah.
Miles, man, that's like little homie, bro. Like every time we see each other is love.
That's dope.
Like, it's always nothing but love. He had me on the first Glow Fest. Like,
Yeah.
so it's love there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Good.
So definitely shout out to Miles. Shout out to the whole Glow team.
And Christ-like.
Christ-like, yeah,
Dope.
yeah. They
Putting
going
out
crazy.
fire
man.
designs, bro. My boy
Yeah.
Keith on every hat.
Every single hat.
I've never bought one hat. He bought every one of my hats.
Shout
Let's
out
go.
Keith, man.
Let's go.
So yeah, man. So West Fest, and then after that, I'll be in Fairfield on the 24th, out at the Building Christian Fellowship, which is gonna be like a homecoming.
That's dope.
I'm saying like,
That's in Fairfield?
yeah, it's in Fairfield.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's on the 24th at the Building Christian Fellowship, and then on the 25th, I'll be in I think Yuba City.
The church in Yuba City is
Yeah, it's at Venture Church.
Venture Church. Shout out Venture.
Yeah, I'll be there for RP Summer, and then I'll be in Minnesota on the 31st.
Let's go. You're busy.
Yeah, I'm bit. Yeah, we locked in, man.
So how can people support you?
Give me your bread. Nah, playing. Nah,
We're at the end. We're gonna put a tithe account.
Right.
We're gonna.
tied to mission. Is
He got kids, so
Right.
we gotta.
No, man. Support for me is engagement. If you see something, share it.
Yeah.
If you like it, of course. If you know what I'm saying. And stream the music. Like I don't even care if you just put it on and just let it run for hours. Don't do that. Them streaming farms. But no, streaming the music, man, and just engaging with content. That's like cash for us now.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a win in
that's a
today's
win.
world. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like Rick Ross said, he's like, man, it don't cost you nothing to like somebody's post.
it's a fact.
It doesn't cost anything.
And engagement is what's
Engagement.
putting people on the map
Exactly.
to do their thing.
People don't realize when they share something or when they comment on something, it pushes the algorithm
To the niche.
To niche, yeah, exactly. And that's how I just had Free. I dropped a song called Free, and it
Fire.
went viral because people were just sharing it. People were commenting on it. It was like, if you see it, just comment. It'd be like, oh, fire emojis, or
Yeah.
like it, or share it.
Simple.
It's simple, and it does a lot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because people always ask, how can I support? Share the song. You know what I'm saying? If you see something, share it. Yeah.
That's what I call silent engagement. Some people are
Exactly.
just like, this is dope. And then they just scroll. It's like,
Engage.
So share, right? Share
It's,
the post,
but look
like
though,
the
so
post.
I have so many people going, bro, you've been going crazy, whoop, 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 whoop. And I'm just like,
I haven't seen you in the comments at all.
But I don't. But and I'm not forcing people to do
For
something
sure.
that they don't,
This
want to
is
do.
funny.
Some people do like the support from the background.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, man, you don't understand what that like or comment will do or share will do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you've been seeing it, don't wait till you get in person to do, hey, bro, you've been going crazy.
Yeah.
Man, comment.
Pull up.
comment
He
that.
responds to people.
Right. Yeah. Pull up to a show. If I do a show and you near, come to the show,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's fact.
Yeah. So
Well, sick. I'm going to put missions, Instagram, any other links that people can follow you, or pretty much
Yeah,
Instagram's where
Spotify
you
or
stay. Yeah,
Instagram.
Spotify. So
Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, and
It's hit or miss for me.
Yeah, I don't do TikTok, but yeah.
I love it. Like, I got a love-hate relationship with TikTok.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop.
Love it when it go crazy, and I hate it when I'm just posting duds.
Yeah. Ain't doing nothing on
Yeah,
it.
it's crazy.
Man, I appreciate you. Thank you
Easy.
for being on here.
First guest, right?
First guest, yeah, you'll be.
I'm the first guest on a lot of people's stuff,
So funny. We filmed out of order. I already have a month's worth of content. We'll cut this, but
yeah,
you're my first episode.
dope.
Yeah.
When we releasing it?
Next Wednesday.
Perfect.
So yeah, I'll do we'll probably do collabs like Monday, Tuesday. I'm gonna do a giveaway too.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do Giants tickets and a brick by brick hat. Can you use that hat?
You got Giants tickets?
I'm gonna give away 2 Giants tickets. So if you want to enter,
Yeah, right.
you can enter. So we'll do that.
Oh, you already got merch.
Yeah, bro. Well, just 2 testers, but yeah, I will have merch.
You're not playing around.
Did you get that? I don't know. We'll get it later. But yeah, so we'll do, all the content. We'll get the reels.
100%.
But appreciate you.
Easy.
This is awesome. Long time coming. But yeah, grateful for your ministry. Grateful for your artistry, but your ministry more. So the message through the music. So
Appreciate you, man.
yeah, big fan.
Sorry.
Cool.
Appreciate you.